The greatest creator is merciful. Knowing about the suffering that was experienced during World War II, some people have proclaimed that the greatest creator is dead, but this is slandering and desecrating the name. To understand the greatest creator with human emotions is drawing a conclusion with incomplete data. If we judge the features of the greatest creator through the perspectives of life and death, or from the difficulty and poverty of people, it would be like appointing a rat to be the grand judge of the supreme court of the world. Can we judge that the greatest creator is merciless when we see a diligent, elderly lady suffering from paralysis on her bed before she dies, or when we see kind and honest people suffering from misfortunes throughout their lives? Some people who are born with silver spoons in their mouths do not have any virtues, but they obtain power and wealth with ease. They do a lot of immoral things in their lives, but die peacefully in their old age and have splendid funerals. Can we judge that the greatest creator is biased for those people and against good ones? To understand the mercy of the greatest creator, we cannot use the right and wrong criteria of people. We have to make these judgments from the perspective of time-space, life cycle, and the level of spiritual nature. From the chapter of Universe, Time and Space in the Chanyuan Corpus, we have known that there are 36 dimensional spaces in the universe. The life cycles among the heaven world, Elysium world, cathode black hole body, the 10,000-year world, the 1,000-year world, mortal world, anode black hole body, livestock world, animal world, plant world, the insect world and bacteria world form the other two life systems, hell world, frozen layer and inflamed layer. Human beings are in the middle world, the mortal world, and the spiritual nature of mankind is lower than that of the God, Buddha, or celestial beings, but higher than that of the livestock, animals, or plants. The level of the spiritual nature descends from the heaven world to the plant world. For instance, the God knows everything in the universe, and the Buddha knows everything in the fairyland, mortal world, animal world, and plant world, but not in the heaven world. The celestial beings only know everything in the mortal world, animal world, and plant world, but not in the Elysium world or heaven world. The human beings only know about the animal world and plant world, but not in the fairyland, 10,000-year world and 1,000-year world, Buddha world, Elysium world, and the God world, heaven world. The animals only know the plant world, but not the other life spaces. The plants are the most ignorant life, knowing nothing about the universe and can only take everything upon them. From the perspective of God, human beings are ignorant. From the perspective of Buddha, the human beings are evil. From the perspective of celestial beings, human beings are short-sighted and stupid. But from the perspective of mankind, human beings are intelligent, though some are good and some are bad. From the perspective of the animals, human beings are inconceivable and horrible. From the perspective of the plants, human beings are fantastic and great. Human beings' ignorance manifested in they don't know where they are from or heading towards. Throughout their life, they are in a muddle, giving up those they should have and pursue things they shouldn't have. When living, they don't know why they live. When dying, they don't know how they die. Human beings' evil manifested. They bully and even kill each other, show disrespect to God and Buddha, conceited, hunt the wild animals, and pollute the waters. If the greatest creator is not merciful, how can we be allowed to abuse the earth created by him? From the perspective of human beings, the genetic engineering is a great, marvelous, and promising career. But if we see from the angle of the greatest creator, it is dangerous and evil. Someday in the future, mankind will pay for it. If the greatest creator is not merciful, he will not give us the admonishment and warnings. Imagine we have raised several dogs in our homes. If these dogs have learnt to unlock the bedroom doors, what will happen? Human beings are short-sighted and stupid because they only care for the short-term and individual interest instead of the long-term and collective interest. People tend to spend their time making money and seeking fun, reluctant to take time to think about the meaning of life. The result is that they have harvested dozens of years of joy but lost the happy life enduring thousands of years. Everybody understands that if everyone is honest, the mortal world will become the paradise. But the fact is that everybody just plays tricks while hoping the others are honest. And only a few of the human beings are honest. Most of them are simply tricky. They not only messed up their own life, also lost the bright future. Now let me answer those 3 questions raised in the above paragraphs. When the diligent, elderly lady had to suffer from the paralysis on bed for years before she passed away, what does it imply? An ambitious and wise boss is aware that, before appointing a staff to an important position, it is imperative to give him the opportunity to experience all difficulties and take almost all tasks in the company and foster his virtues of selflessness and sacrifice. The stricter the boss is, the more rewards the staff will obtain in the future. Mao Zedong arranged his son to work as a peasant, worker, and later a soldier in the Korean War. Why? He hoped his son would experience some difficulties and know about the common people first before taking the throne. The wise parents also know that they shouldn't spoil their kids by giving them whatever they want. Otherwise, they will not make excellent career in their future life. Too much indulgence in childhood can only lead to regret in the old age. In the eyes of the greatest creator, people are just in their childhood. Suffering is imposed upon us by the greatest creator in the hope that we can find a better place after our death, either in the 1,000-year world, or at least that we can return to the mortal world after death and enter the 1,000-year world after further self-refining and self-improvement. This is why wise people regard the greatest creator as the merciful Heavenly Father. Judging from the perspective of people, the greatest creator is really merciless to impose suffering on the diligent, elderly lady before her death. However, if we stand in the boots of the greatest creator, we will find the mercy. It would be totally brutal to end her suffering before her death. The father of the late U.S. President Kennedy would not let others save his son about to be drowned in the river. For ordinary people, he was really merciless. But very few people knew that he was seizing the opportunity to let his son experience the sufferings, hoping he would become someone in the future. So the greatest creator is doing the same thing when imposing suffering on a good and honest person throughout their whole life, because doing so is just to cultivate their virtues so that they will be qualified to enter the 1,000-year world. The U.S. immigration policy has set many regulations. Only by following these regulations can one be qualified to live on this land. To work as a professor in Oxford or Cambridge University, you have to obtain certain level of education and experience. Even if you are lucky and have obtained a position there, you cannot maintain the job because the students will find the common sense mistakes and confused logics made by you. An excellent family will not allow their future generations to marry imprudently. A pure organization does not accept new members unscrupulously. The 1,000-year world is a piece of pure land, refusing the access of stinking people, just like the sitting room will not tolerate the existence of dog droppings or chicken manure. Jesus said, "Blessed are the poor in spirit. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness. Blessed are those who mourn." Why? Jesus said, "For theirs is the kingdom of heaven." Shakyamuni said, "The humble lives of living people are just to eliminate sins from past lives. Only in this way can they self-improve and reach the supreme wisdom." The celestial being, Lao Tzu said, "Blessings are disguised as misfortunes, and in order to take, one must first give." The greatest creator gives much consideration before imposing suffering and plight on good and honest people throughout their whole lives. To give lifelong fortune and happiness to a person sounds very attractive, but that person would really be over-consuming their blessings. The more you get, the more you will lose. Everyone knows that the higher one climbs, the more serious an injury they will suffer if they fall. Everything in the universe follows the principle of the unity of opposites, and in the end, your gains will equal to your losses. The more you gain, the more you will lose, and the less you gain, the less you will lose. An Indian religion advocates asceticism, and it is not an ignorant practice. John D. Rockefeller, who earned wealth with oil mines, donated hundreds of millions of dollars to charities and only kept a small part of his riches. He was not an old fool. The Kung Fu star, Jet Li, donated his sponsorship income to the temple, not because he had too much money to spend. They both understood what Tao is, and they have possessed its wisdom. Can we still say that the greatest creator is not merciful? If everyone believed the greatest creator does not exist, then mankind would not exist either. The greatest creator is there because a large number of people believe in and admire it. Because of this, The greatest creator allows us to live on the earth in hopes that we can follow, give up evil, and return to good. From this perspective, the greatest creator is very merciful.